Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another post-game show brought to you by Team Curse for Heroes Premier League. Today, from Team Curse, we've got Grim with us. I, of course, am Pride. And from 2Art Gaming, we've got the manager, Mr. Nixus, here with us as well. And we can go over the matches really quickly because we have 2 interviews today, and one of those interviews we had to bring in a translator. So I mean, we're just kind of trying to brush through this so we can get to that interview with Team Empire is going to be that second interview. Mr. Nixus, of course. 2Art Gaming is our first, but going over the games. ESV Wildfire and Team No Breaks had a queue failure. Q Boss came in once again. And a lot of people were worried about this in the first week with Team Vex when they had a queue failure as well. But then Team Vex came back around and were able to get matched up against, Glorious this week. And then No Breaks this week wasn't able to hit with Wildfire. But what happened with that, of the story that I'm hearing, is that there was one particular team that I guess that was just in the middle of their MMR, because the same team sniped both No Breaks and Wildfire, like back-to-back 5 or 6 times. So one time they would snipe it versus Wildfire, and then the next time they'd snipe it versus No Breaks. So it was difficult. But fortunately, we don't have to worry about that anymore after week 3, because we'll have custom games and we can do all sorts of fun stuff, like have legitimate tournaments with best-of-3 matches the way they should be. So, minus a little bit of I don't want to say complaining, but a little bit of, should we really do that in the middle of a league? Yes, we absolutely should. Best of 3 is the way it's supposed to be, and that's the way it's going to be, and that's how we're going to do it. But moving on, I2 Hard versus Prism. I2 Hard, of course, beat, I think it was Empire last week in week number 1. Came out of nowhere, got the big upset. I2 Hard carried that on and defeated Team Prism, who is a team from, I'm not going to say because I don't want to mess it up and get the wrong country. That'd be really bad. But if I had to guess, I would guess Bulgaria is the country. What am I going to go with there? Third match, Blame Game versus ESV Tempest. Blame Game kind of pulling an upset. Do you guys consider that an upset or not? ESV Tempest versus Blame Game.
Well, I must admit that Tempest went for a bit of a weird comp. Zera, Chen, Rhaegar together is very rare. I've never seen that comp. But Blame Game, definitely, they're going for that very popular double shield comp. We on Team Curse call it the Undying Life Bar comp. It's just safe to play, and it's fun, and I think they got a bit outpicked. I don't like to throw that word out too much, but definitely Blame Game brought it up. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with you. Very good performance. It did come down to the draft a little bit, and I love the little nickname you guys have for the Undying Life Bar, but that's great. But yeah, no, impressive performance, and I was really happy to see that, especially since Tempest has been, quite the contender lately. So, good.
Absolutely. Definitely looking forward to see Blame Game come out. I mean, like I said, when we came into this, we said, just because the team isn't known doesn't mean they're not good. And so watch out, because one of them might come in and take a spot from one of those better-known teams. But moving on to the next game was another EU matchup, which was Vegas Squadron versus Team Empire. Up until today, with the SK Gaming announcement that they picked up Quality Control, this match was the first esport team or esport organization picked up in Team Empire versus the latest, which was Vegas Squadron. So that was kind of cool. Of course, SK had to come in and ruin that for us. We couldn't even comment on it anymore. SK Gaming pulling it out. Empire came back with a vengeance. Lost in week 1, but came back in week 2. Let Vegas Squadron know that they're not here to fail. They're going to take it to the top. And then our last match was Clairvoyant versus 2Arc Odyssey, and 2Arc Odyssey's last match for now. Which brings us to Mr. Nexus, the manager of 2Arc Gaming. What's going on?
Well, I mean, it's alpha stuff. You know, we went through quite a bumpy road over the last couple months. You know, looking for a solid roster. We formed our first team back in April with Steve, Soldier, Pook, Red Anger, Custodian. That team went for about 4 months, and they did really, really well for themselves. Then, you know, they kind of went their separate ways. Steve to Versus Fear, you know, Soldier to Symbiote, a couple of the other guys focusing on life and whatnot. So, you know, when we lost essentially our first team, we were like, well, you know, we love what's going on here, and let's start another recruitment phase. And we went through that for a good month, and that was about 2.5 months ago when that started. And we found a number of people that we considered rather talented. And we paired them up based on who we felt meshed better and whatnot, and we decided to form 2 teams when originally we only wanted one. And you know, we went with Tuark Iliad, Tuark Odyssey, and up until now, like you know, it's really been a big learning experience. You know, we're a very young team up against some teams that have been around for quite a while. Yeah, you know, they picked up some new members here and there, but I mean, it was definitely, you know, kind of hitting the ground running and having to learn on the go. And I feel like with the recent decision that we made to pretty much dissolve one of the teams, take Quibsy, who we are very confident in, and have him as the permanent 5th for Iliad, that, you know, things are going to progress really, really well from here on out, where we feel like it was the best decision we could have made at the moment. You know, Odyssey's not gone forever. We definitely want to have another sister team eventually in the future, but you know, that's what we did up to date. But yeah, definitely a positive decision. You know, a lot of people have been coming over to us saying, oh, you know, it's really unfortunate. You know, we're sorry to hear that. It's not all sad. I mean, things have to be done. Decisions have to be made. And it's just about keeping your chin up and trucking forward and learning from your mistakes. And, you know, I'm really happy with the guys that we have on board. Very, very passionate guys, very dedicated. So things are looking good.
Absolutely. And so you said Quibsy. Quibsy. I don't know.
Quibsy, yeah.
I think I
very common mistake.
The spelling of his name on the draft videos like 3 or 4 times as we go through.
It's all good.
I just make it go back and forth as a GIF. That way, you know, it's right 50%.
One of them's right.
It's right 50% of the time. I'll take it. So what is the final core 5 roster for Tuark Iliad?
Cool. So right now, what we're running with, and I hope to run with for quite a while, Kiefer's is captain. All right. And actually, the first 4 people that I'm going to name have been on Iliad since the Iliad was formed. So we've got Kiefer's, we've got Kiro, who's main support. Who's been gone for about, but he'll be back, and we're looking forward to picking up some more games with him. So Mr. J Pickles, and then Furious D, who has actually not been on the team for as long as Kiefer's and Mr. J and Kiro, but has been around for about a month now, and we just brought him on as a permanent addition to the team. Very, very happy with him and his performance and, you know, his attitude. And Quibsy being our final 5th. So, you know, we're quite happy with that roster. You know, some very positive attitudes, and their communication's so good right now. So we're trying to just basically work together, you know, work on our drafting, work on particularly our late game, being able to close out those games. I'm sure if you guys have watched, you know, we do all right in the team fights, like mid-game, and usually early, like we've got some decent control. It's just really about ending those games, closing out the match, knowing when to push for the finish. So that's really what we're working on, and, you know, like I said, keeping our chins up.
Right on. So, just how come Iliad and Odyssey? How did those names come about? Iliad and Odyssey. And apparently, and I have to apologize to this, in all the rankings and all of the teams list, apparently I had Iliad spelled with 2 L's and it's only 1. So,
Yeah, common mistake again. Don't worry. We seem to be picking a lot of names and people who have hard to spell, you know, that have words and names that are hard to spell. But why Iliad and Odyssey? Honestly, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. I was a total mythology nerd when I was a kid. I took 3 years of mythology through middle and high school, and you know, look up to Homer and his works, and I felt like Iliad and Odyssey was pretty appropriate originally, before we actually decided that both teams, and we were going to kind of spread out what we considered the talent and level it out and have 2 teams that were sister teams on par to progress forward together. The original intention was for Iliad to be our main roster, right? And Iliad's kind of it's the poem that's about the war, you know, between the Greeks and everything, and it's about the fight, it's about the war when you're up at the top kind of thing. And Odyssey's about the journey, and that was kind of like the idea behind it. So Odyssey was supposed to be the team that we brought people on while they made their way towards the main roster and whatnot. Obviously, that didn't end up being the case, but that was the original intention with the names. And again, I'm just a total mythology nerd, and I love it. So, and I love Iliad. I've always liked that word. So
It's a fantastic
pretty
word.
much it.
I love the word. It's fun to say. Iliad.
Yeah.
Right on. All right. Before we get too far in, I do want to bring in the guys from Team Empire, and then we're gonna switch back over to you, Mr. Nixus, here in just a little while. But
Cool.
I want to run this on over here we have Asphalt and Noodles of Team Empire. Now I do want to stress out there for the viewers that Asphalt does not speak English, so Noodles is here to help us out and translate. Both these guys are from the Russian area in the world. So welcome, Noodles and Asphalt.
Hi.
What's going on, guys?
Yeah, hi. Not much. Appreciate for invite here, and we're really happy to be here. Hi guys, hi all viewers.
All right, so Team Empire, you guys were the first team picked up in Heroes of the Storm. Like, you guys were the first organization to be picked up. Team Curse was the first American team to be picked up.
Yes.
Even though, Grim, I think you're Canadian, right?
Yes.
All right, we'll forgive you. It's fine.
Montreal.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's okay. No, but Team Curse, of course, was the first American team to be picked up. But Team Empire was the first team overall to be picked up. And, of course, Empire is a Russian organization. So how'd that feel for you guys to be sort of that first team picked up, to be the first big name in Heroes of the Storm?
Давай, Нудл, зажги.
Actually, I'm here just for translate.
Right.
So, but
Okay.
I don't know how to answer your question because we have almost the whole new roster, and those guys who starts with me just 4 months ago they gone. I'm the one. I'm the only one who, still in Team Empire from the first guys came, and so I don't know how to answer this question. So you want Asphalt to ask
Just
to answer
say it
this
feels
question, or you
great.
want
Just-
me?
It feels great, Noodles.
Okay, it feels great.
There we go. That's what we like to hear. All right, so Asphalt, and of course Noodles is going to be translating for us for Asphalt here. Number one thing I want to ask you about is, were you surprised at all by I2 Hard whenever they'd come out of the gate swinging? Was that a surprise to you guys at all? Had you guys faced them before? Any scrims or anything like that? Were you very familiar with that team composition and that team in I2 Hard?
Ну,
Ты понял?
можно начать с
Понял,
того,
Артём?
что... Да, я понял. Можно начать с того, что вообще видели их пару раз в скримах, когда я был только заменяющим игроком, и они не казались сильными игроками. Также стоит добавить, что когда мы с ними встретились, это были игроки, которые играли буквально 6 или 7 дней, и которые играли всего по 6 часов в день, и мы просто не знали всех персонажей, всех скиллов, у нас не было времени, но мы не были удивлены тому, как мы проиграли. Мы даже не были особо этому разочарованы, поскольку это было наше первое состязание с этими игроками в таком полном составе.
And now Noodles is going to say no.
No. Asphalt said that we have a lot of changes before the tournament, and we have the whole new roster before the 6 days of starting the tournament, and we met Ito Hard a few times in pubs, and they looks not so not so strong, but when you lost 3 main players in your team, before the tournament, before 6 days before.
Did we lose you there? I think we may
Sometimes.
have
Enough
lost
time.
Noodles.
Yeah.
You just don't have enough time to prepare for the tournament as good as well. So that's it. It was not surprising to lose them. So
Well, you guys played Vega Squadron today, and it looked like you guys came in and really exclamated that last week was a fluke. I mean, last week was last week, and we're back, and we're gonna take this tournament. Like, that's our plan, that's our goal. You guys look really strong. Grim, what do you think about Empire's performance this week?
Well, the bans were quite normal. Vega picked up Kerrigan. I didn't expect that, since ganking is losing kind of its popularity at the current meta. Players tend to play extremely safe and not overextend with their lane, so I was surprised to see Kerrigan from Vega. Pretty normal bans from Empire as well. They played a very unseen calm Sergeant Hammer back in action. During the drafting phase, I couldn't really anticipate what's going to go on with Sergeant Hammer because I just rarely see her. But overall, Blackheart's Bay is a fantastic map for Sergeant Hammer because the map is very open. The lanes are not very tight. There's a lot of space to roam. But yeah, Team Empire was quite lucky on the random map pool roll, I must admit.
All right, so as for my question for you is number one, how do you feel your performance went this week compared to week number one, and then to follow up with that, how you feel about that hammer pickup and what perhaps you would have done differently if you didn't get Blackheart's Bay and you got something, for example, like say Cursed Hollow. What do you think you would have performed as well on a different map, or do you think that this was in fact the best map you could have hoped for in this game, in this matchup?
Сейчас. Ну, вообще, мы, когда начали эту игру, мы точно не знали, что будет за карта, но у нас точный был план, что мы будем играть от Хаммера, что мы будем вот все сосредоточены на нем, на том, чтобы играть через него. И мы точно не знали, какая будет карта. Я надеялся, что будет именно эта карта, где были пираты, монеты, и очень боялся, что будет карта с драконом. Вот. Ну, я доволен нашей игрой в целом, но я хочу опять же сказать, что это далеко, даже близко, даже не 30% того, что мы могли бы показать, будь у нас столько же времени на тренировки и подготовки, как у других команд. Также стоит отметить, что в последний момент, опять же, один из наших игроков не смог играть, нам пришлось заменить его, и мы играли с абсолютно незнакомым для нас человеком и смогли показать себя, как мне кажется, очень хорошо.
Really, man? You must be kidding. I'm already don't remember what you said from the beginning,
Может, по частям разобьем?
No, it's okay. Actually, I also said that from the beginning we have some strategy with the Sergeant Hammer, and when we start to peak and bans champions, we already know that we will going to play with Sergeant Hammer, and it's one of our not main tactics, but we just want to try this. And actually he said that we really get lucky with the map, and when we was in draft, we're just hoping that that we will not going to play on Dragon Share. So, and also Demek says that mostly he's He's maybe I don't know how to say exactly, but he's not so pleased with the game about our game, and he said that it's not even the 30% that we can show, and we will try hard more. And he said that we will try to show more strategies and more some good picks, and we just will try hard. And if we will have if we will have more time for practicing, and we just need this time to practicing with the new roster, and we will try hard more. Thank you.
Okay, so
Забыл сказать, что еще один игрок, типа, успели сыграть с ним всего одну игру перед тем, как турнир сыграли. Или это не стоит говорить? Дюк ведь с
Doesn't
нами.
be.
Окей.
Sorry, it's just some Russian.
just something Russian.
Yeah,
Some words.
some
That's
words.
great.
Okay, well, my follow up to that is, how do you feel about the league transforming from the best of one format to the best of three format, starting at week 4, with the introduction of the custom games and all that from that Blizzard announced today?
You asking Asphalt?
Yes.
Еще раз. Repeat, please.
How do you feel about the league, Heroes Premier League, going from the best of one structure to the best of 3 format, starting at week 4, with the introduction of the custom games that Blizzard announced today, starting October the 9th?
Ну, игры, какие сейчас они есть, они меня устраивают. То есть это единственный вариант, как можно было бы нормально проводить лигу. Это вот как сейчас есть. То есть в этом все круто. А когда появятся кастомы, тогда будет еще лучше. И в целом я доволен тем, как лига проходит и какие у нее правила. Довольно легко все равно найти тех оппонентов, которых ты ждешь. Так что меня все устраивает.
Also said that you guys done a great job with the league, and he's really really pleased. And he said that it's okay. So it will after this shutdown for the week, it will be more fun with best of 3. And for this time when we don't have custom games, and it was the best way to make best of 1 games, not best of 3, because we just don't have I don't know actually this word.
Time, perhaps.
Not the time. We
Patience?
don't have no. We don't have tools in the game.
Okay, tools, okay.
For to make a good best of 3 in best time. So we need a lot of time. Each team need a lot of time to make best of 3 games. It's even not an hour. It can take 2 or 3 hours if some team don't have enough MMR or low MMR, and it can go for hours and hours. So for now, best of 1 was the best choice, and after the week's shutdown, best of 3 it will be great. So we are okay with that.
All right, very, very good, very good. Well, we want to say thank you to Noodles and Asfel for joining us on the show today. Thank you guys so much. And I think you guys did an awesome job considering the language barrier between Asfel and us. I think that was quite good. You should become a professional translator, Noodles. I think that's a great career choice for you in the future. And yeah. But we're going to switch it back over here to Mr. Nixus. and Grim from Team Curse. Grim, overall today, how do you feel the games went? What was your favorite game this time around?
Well, definitely some odd comps. Well, odd, unusual, I'd say. Definitely my favorite game would be Game 4, Clairvoyant versus 2-Arc.
Mhm.
I think even in the in the drafting mode, I was eager and excited for the match because I finally saw a Abathur ban. Usually when you ban Abathur, it's a big tell that the team is going for a gank comp, simply because the Abathur nest gives vision for scouting. So I was really excited for that. Clairvoyant picked Illidan, which is a pretty good pick, since they have two healers to keep him up. So another Illidan game. I was very pleased to watch that. But Tuark had so much damage on their side. But in the end, both teams had very high tier picks. Um, but yeah, I wasn't surprised that Clairvoyant was managing to pick up the most kills in the game. And I have to say that that Skara Illidan profile during the drafting, I don't know if you guys saw that. That was
Yeah.
hilarious.
Mufasa did. It was pretty funny. It was great.
I don't know if that was intentional, but that sure made me chuckle.
I hope it was.
Yeah.
No, but that was really, really funny, and it caught everybody off guard, so we all had a good laugh. Even the casters were like going crazy over it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. I actually, to make those things, I obviously have to find the pictures for them, the heroes things, and I googled Illidan heroes, and that image showed up, and I was like, well, I mean, I've got to use it. It's gotta happen. I've got to put it in there. And I didn't use it in number one, the first game yesterday, in day one. There was an Illidan pickup as well on MYI. I didn't use it there because I thought it would be a great thing to send Odyssey out on a fun note, and you know, just kind of, it wasn't their pick, but I still think that, you know, just that match itself was something fun to use and just kind of lighten the mood and all that good stuff before we went into 2-Arc Odyssey's last match. And I think that Odyssey put on a hell of a showing for their finale. Honestly, I think they came out, they went up against Clairvoyant, and they gave it to them. They didn't make it easy at all for Clairvoyant to pick up that win, and I'm quite proud of 2-Arc for the job they did. I don't know if they, of course, knew at that time that it was going to be their last match or not, but they put on a hell of a match. So kudos to those guys for sure. Now, bringing it all the way back around, were there any other matches that you thought were particularly or stood out at all to you, Grim?
Well, Game 4, like I said, I really liked because both teams, none of them, there was no pick win. Everyone drafted really quite well. There was no massive advantage on one side. Both sides were very well picked. And that's what I like. I like when both teams, there's no clear advantage. That makes for a really fun and entertaining game to watch.
Right on.
Absolutely.
What about you, Nixus? Did you see any of these games that really stood out to you? Anything in particular?
Yeah. I mean, we talked a little bit about it earlier in the call, but I liked the game, Blame Game versus, Tempest. I thought that Blame Game put up a really good show.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to agree with Grim. The Odyssey versus Clairvoyant match was pretty fun to watch. There were a couple pretty good fights and a few almost comebacks right near the end there, especially with the little overextended chase. Clairvoyant was right up on our Nexus, and we ended up chasing him a little bit too far up top lane, and then they kind of turned it around on us. But, I really love those kinds of matches. I think they're fun to watch. The Illidan pick was definitely a lot of fun. You don't really see it too much because generally a little underrated. Last time I saw him picked a bunch was with the double hunt, the Abathur Illidan bit. Yeah, and I think the Abathur ban honestly caught our guys off a little bit. They didn't expect it. Maybe Arthas, maybe Tychus, obviously, maybe a Stitches, and then like they saw the Abathur ban, they're like, okay, what's going on? But yeah, I think Game 2 and Game 4 were the two games that I enjoyed watching.
Right on. So we talked a little bit about this with Empire, but we, of course, HPL is sort of changing the format a little bit of the tournament with the news that custom games are being brought in. And I think it was a part of the original invite that if custom games did ever get implemented, we would change the format as quickly as possible, as quickly as it made sense to. And we're going ahead and playing week 3 before the shutdown, so that we don't have too big of a lapse of content coming out. So we're gonna kind of stretch that content over the course of the blackout, I guess, the great blackout.
The darkness. Yeah.
Of Heroes, so that we can at least continue to bring the community some content or another, to kind of hold them over, to shine the light of hope upon them, remind them that Heroes is in fact coming back.
Don't fret, all right?
Yes.
That's good.
But whenever we do come back, starting in week 4, and we don't have the exact dates for when they're going to happen, because one of the biggest questions is that there's going to be a wipe. The office is going to get wiped, and all hero progression is going to get wiped as well. So the question that we're kind of internally asking ourselves is, how much time do we need to give these players to get back on the level they need to be able to play these games successfully? Because you have to keep in mind that, outside of the free-to-play heroes, you've got to buy or grind your way to the rest of them. And now there are certainly some teams that are sponsored, and no doubt those teams are probably right now on the phone with their sponsors. We need this much money so we can buy this many heroes at this time, and things like that. But the people that maybe don't have sponsors, maybe don't have a financial aid department of their sponsorship, may be a little curious as to how they're going to get all these heroes that they need up to level 5 and all that good stuff, to wherever they can be competitive again. And so right now, we're kind of looking at roughly a week for players to be able to get grind their way to level 5 on most of the heroes, at least the ones that they are going to want to be playing and bringing into the league. But there's also going to be 2 new heroes, which brings the pool, I believe, to 31. The total pool of heroes to 31. I think that's correct.
I believe it's 31.
31?
Yeah.
31 or 32. Okay. I think we're at 29
Counting
right
Shen.
now.
It's 31, yeah.
31, okay. So we're at 31, or we'll be at 31 when we come back, and a lot of teams are asking, well, now that there's more than 30 characters, are we going to introduce more than one band per team? And I said, well, we don't know yet. Number one, I don't think Azmodan and what's the other one, Anubarak, I don't think we're gonna allow them in week number 1 this time. We allowed Chin in week number 1 when he was out. We allowed Chin, and we saw a couple things we didn't really like. There were a couple of bugs with Chin that were out there, and of course there was a bug with Abathur, and that's totally on us that we didn't see that bug before games started to get played. But unfortunately, you find yourself when you're sort of in this position, a game had already been played whenever the bug was sort of discovered by us, or not but told to us. We'd already had games played that had an Abathur, so it's like, well, we can't go back and make every single team replay these matches, because midway through the week we're like, well, we gotta ban Abathur. So you find yourself in a really weird situation. So we decided, internally, that we're just gonna put a week hold on all new heroes that come out. So we were probably not going to allow for Azmodan and Anubarak in week 1 coming back, which would be Series 4. So, but you can definitely look forward to them in Series 5. And in terms of the 2 bans, or more than 1 ban, I think right now it's 2 bans per team is what some of the teams are suggesting. I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think 31 is a decent amount of guys, but there's also the question, is 31's not bad, but it's also not great of a number either. It's not like that big. So what I'm kind of waiting to see is how Azmodan and Anubarak, excuse me, still getting over that sickness from last week. But so I apologize for that. I'm on a bottle of cough syrup over here just to survive my throat to be able to survive do this show. But we're gonna kind of have to take a look and I think see what's going on with Anubarak and Azmodan in regards to what do they bring to the meta, what do they bring to the game. Will the introduction of those 2 heroes shift the meta at all? Are we gonna have any sort of patch in terms of balance patch in between now and whenever the game comes back online? Are they going to be doing anything in terms of balance or changes to the maps, things like that? So I think there's a lot of different elements you have to bring into consideration whenever you up the number of bans. But I think the way that we're looking at it right now is we're not going to up the number of bans for the season, but you might be surprised when it comes to the actual championships of HPL, and there may or may not be another ban for each team there. We'll just have to see how it all goes down. But my question for Nixus and you, Grim, is how does this patch, everything we know about it so far, and really it's not a whole lot. I mean, all we know is replay, or finally officially being sort of supported by Blizzard, which is amazing. I think what we're going to see is that watch tab at the bottom is going to start glowing, that ever more lively shade of purple. We're going to be able to click on that and watch replays of past games that we've had, and I think that's going to be amazing. And also we had the reintroduction of custom games. So how does that change the landscape of Heroes Esports to you guys?
Well, definitely replays and custom games will jetpack the Heroes competitive scene quite fast. Those are the key ingredients to a successful esports. This is it's a good time to start, but it's definitely the right way to start, I'd say.
Good. Yeah, I mean, the introduction of custom games is a little bit earlier than I expected. I forecasted it being maybe at the start of alpha, which would have been, possibly months from now. But I think a lot of people are happy about it. I'm really happy to see that HPL is switching over to the best of three. It's something I much prefer. When it comes to the new patch, like it's gonna stink a little bit for some teams that have international players. So that's something that they're gonna have to figure out. Seeing how to keep their players together. But besides that, I'm pretty excited for it. I think a lot of people are on the same page for that. And I think that, as you said, Grim, the introduction of custom games is going to kind of jetpack it. So it's going to give it a big boost. There's going to be, I think things are going to pick up really quickly because people are going to be practicing a ton more. And versus, a lot more teams, and they're going to be able to plan out those teams that they want to practice versus, and that's going to help develop relationships too, rather than spending 2.5 hours trying to queue into the same team and getting it sniped and whatnot. You can get 8 games in a night, no problem, and those bonds are going to kind of form. So, very excited for it, honestly, I really am.
Well, there you go. There you have it. I'm personally, obviously excited about it. I'm a big, huge guy for esports. I love esports. They're awesome. They're amazingly fun to run, play, watch. I mean, everything. Love all of it. And then basically what it comes down to is I think that the best of 3 format is the best format you could possibly have for this, I think. And then whenever you're going into grand finals of something, you want to up that even more, go to a best of 5 format and make sure, because I mean the biggest thing is, just like we saw with Vex Gaming and Symbiote, Vex Gaming, even though yes it is totally possible that they could have outdrafted that situation, or yesterday with Vex rather, but they could have outdrafted that situation and not have been putting them or shooting themselves in the foot to basically lose that match regardless of what they did. But in talking with Vex after the game and all that stuff, they really legitimately had never seen that before, and so they found themselves in a position where they didn't know what the hell was going on, and in a best of 3 situation. That gives a team like Vex another opportunity to say, all right, well, we lost that, and that's on us that we lost it, but now we have this opportunity to come back in, and if you try it again, we can stop you. We know what it is. We know what's coming. We can try and stop that. Or, the other way around. If Symbiote somehow manages to lose to some weird strategy from Vex, they can come through and they'd be like, well, we know about this now. Let's see what we can do about it. And then it comes down to a situation where teams have to decide, are we going to run the same strategy, or are we going to completely change it up for game 2? What are we going to do? And I think that that's something that really livens up esports. It kind of gives it an extra element of surprise and an extra element of strategy. It's not just your in-game strategy, but also your out-of-game strategy, your drafting and your map picks, and the strategies that you use going into those different maps and things like that. So.
Definitely ups the entertainment value for sure.
Yes, definitely. Best of 3 is the best way to go every time, no matter what. And if we could have gotten away with best of 3 originally, believe me, we would have. But as Empire was saying not too long ago, a little more difficult to do that whenever you have to rely on a system that just doesn't really support it all that well. You might get lucky and be able to get all 3 of your best of 3 matches done, but let's be honest here, you'd probably be sitting in queue for 7-8 hours.
Oh boy. You know, we remember our first match versus Symbiote back at the beginning of ES3, 4 hours to get a queue, you know?
Wow.
That would have been a nightmare.
Exactly. So I mean, just think about that. You're trying to do that 3 times, and there are a couple of
No.
teams that really have no way of or really have a very small opportunity to get matched up against each other. There's some pretty wide MMR swings between certain teams. I think the EU are all very similar, actually. I think the EU is probably the closest of the 2. We can actually switch it over here and ask Timic or ask Asfel here. Are the MMR spreads on the EU side a little bit easier to deal with, you think, than the US? Are you guys finding it difficult to get matched up against other teams for HPL?
Так, он слишком быстро говорит, скажи, что он сказал.
Он
You're
спрашивает,
safe to
насколько
speak. Ага.
Он сказал, что насколько просто нам искать на лиге,
Ага.
типа, насколько быстро мы нашли игру, находим игры против наших противников.
Понятно. Ну, вообще, ты ему еще скажи, что, к счастью, у нас все игроки, ну, поскольку мало времени играют, они довольно быстро... То есть они не испытывали вообще проблем, о которых он говорит, что там что-то по 40 минут искать. У нас игры обычно ищутся там, ну, вот максимум 5 минут. А сейчас, вот, ну, не знаю, сколько... У нас не было проблем с этим. То есть мы, когда взяли все 40-е уровни, мы со 2-го раза точно находили своих оппонентов. А во второй игре мы с 1-го раза нашли.
So, actually, as I was saying that we don't have, big troubles to finding our opponents in HPL. Since we all in our roster gets the 40 level, we just, we have a huge friend list, and when some of the teams go into queue in HPL, they just shoutcast it, and they just type something like HPL queuing, please don't queue, and everyone just stop queuing, and teams that want to go to play on league, they don't have troubles to meet each other in the queue, so we don't have troubles with that.
Well, that is not something we see on the American side. I know, at least I have a number of the players on my friends list, and I don't think I've yet to ever see anyone be like, "Q." I think I saw it one time, but I think it was an EU team. I think it was Ace who actually did it, not one of the Americans. I don't know. Nix, did your team do that? Do you guys like broadcast that you're searching and to tell people to stop searching?
Not so. I mean, yeah, like between captains and stuff, they'll send a little message left and right just to know who's queuing up. A while ago, I know in the draft channel, people were like actively saying like, hey, we're queuing up for this and that, and if you guys could hold off. And it was really dependent on just like general etiquette and how patient some people were. But I think with time, people were just like, what, we're never gonna get our games in if we keep sitting in line like this. So people just started queuing up. But yeah, no, I see it done a little bit right lately. It's just more between individuals rather than like in a common channel. And if it is still being done, I have not seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it once or twice on the EU side of things. I was wondering what that was about. I mean, it's not in English, so I don't know. But I think I did see Ace put that up one time about queuing for HPL. I didn't read the whole thing about that. But yeah, maybe the Americans should do that. Maybe have some like, everyone chill out for a minute. Let me get this game in.
I'm quite thankful we have the broadcast feature.
Yes.
I don't know how would we do without that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, even if it's limited just to your friends list and stuff, it's good.
It's still better than nothing.
Absolutely, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well,
long live custom games.
Eventually, we won't have to worry about that at all anyway, and it'll be fine, and everyone will be living in our own little happy esports world. But with that being said, guys, this has been the Team Curse post-game show for the Heroes Premier League, Week 2, Day 2. We'll be back next week, of course, with more interviews, more esports, and more just everything else. And hopefully, no more of this damn cold that has been haunting me since week 1. I mean, I got it the night after day 1 of HPL went live, and I got it, and it's been hurting me ever since. It's crazy.
More chicken soup. You'll be fine.
I know. I need to get that.
Secret remedy.
Well, I mean, I ran out of cough syrup. True story.
Oh.
I ran out of cough syrup. Right? And I do podcasting and I do the show, and I mean, so like my voice, I have to have my voice, and I can't keep coughing and things like that. So I have to, kind of load up on cough syrup before I go in to do something, right? So
Yeah.
but I had run out of cough syrup, and so an elderly woman that, basically my girlfriend's grandmother was like, well, why don't you just make some cough syrup? I was like, what do you mean just make some cough syrup? She's like, well, just take some whiskey.
Yeah. I was about to say
Take
that.
some whiskey and, put some honey in it, put some peppermint, and put some lemon juice in it, mix it up, drink it like a shot. I was like, just like that. And she's like, yeah, just like that. So I ended up here with like a glass of whiskey and honey and lemon, and I was drinking that during the, I think it was day number 2 was when that was going on, but it was a lot of fun. I had fun.
Fantastic. New HPL cocktail.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, we'll call it the premiere.
There we go.
Yeah.
Like it.
For any of you guys that are headed out to BlizzCon this year, I think someone out there is trying to get something set up. Are you going?
Yeah. I
Alright.
definitely plan on going. Yep.
Very nice.
Very,
will
very
be going
excited.
to.
First BlizzCon ever.
It's gonna be your first, Curse, or
Yeah,
Graham,
yeah.
is this gonna be your first?
Yeah, it's gonna be my first. Can't wait.
Have either of the two Empire guys made it to America to go to BlizzCon yet?
I don't know yet, man. I don't know. Maybe some guys from the staff will going to BlizzCon, but I don't think it's someone from the team. If Blizzard's not going to make, a tournament, and they not going to get invites or something like that, so I don't think any one of my teammates will go to BlizzCon. It's pretty far from Russia, and it's pretty hard and expensive to get visas in America, and so it's not too easy just to go in embassy and get visa just to going to a few days on BlizzCon.
Well, here's my BlizzCon secret for you, Grim, and you, Nexus. There's a 7-Eleven right there on the corner of the convention center, right next to Red Lion Hotel. You go about 200 feet west of that. There's a little enclave. It's got like a Subway restaurant in it. There's a little Mexican food place. All right, every morning, because the night beforehand is going to be a hard night. Just letting you know. It could be a fun but very hard night.
All right.
You're gonna feel it in the morning, is what I'm trying to tell you. So what you do is that morning when you wake up, you walk over to that little Mexican place and you order their breakfast burrito. It is about 2 foot long, 6 inches wide, costs $2, and it's got everything in the world you could possibly ever want in a breakfast burrito. It's the greatest thing ever.
Wow.
So that's my BlizzCon secret for you guys. Enjoy that.
You'll have to give me those directions again.
For sure.
Right past the 7-Eleven by the Subway. Yeah.
Yeah, it's right. You can't miss it. You really can't. It's right there. Everything is in like a little circle around the convention center. It's fun. But once again, thank you, Mr. Nixus from 2R Gaming for joining us on the show. Thank you to Team Empire.
Pleasure.
Where can they find you guys, Empire, on the social media? I think Russia's got their own social media thing called VK, and I keep hearing about this VK thing. I don't know what it is. But I know that every time I go to a Russian site, I always see the sign for VK. So I'm assuming it's sort of like a big social media thing over there.
Yeah, it's kind of Facebook, but in Russia.
So it's Russian Facebook, basically.
Yeah,
Very
something like that.
Well, where can they find you on the VK book of faces in Russia?
Вики.
book. Oh my god.
Вики book. Да.
You wanna our addresses on VK, so you can join the official Team Empire I don't know, public it calls. Or
Well, does Empire have like a
like-
Facebook, just a normal English Facebook? Excuse me.
Yeah, Team Empire have the Facebook and the VK also. Wait a minute, I will give you the links. Here's the link of VK Team Empire official public, and
Too quiet.
wait a minute, I just trying to get the link. It's too late for me. You can check this.
There we go.
Facebook.com/Empire Esport is where you can find those guys. And Mr. Nixus, how about you, man? Where can they find you on the inner tubes?
Cool. Well, you can find our organization over at facebook.com/team2arc or at twitter.com/team2arc. Actually, Team2arc Gaming. We recently just changed it on Twitter. So
There you go.
there we go.
And Mr. Grimm from Curse Gaming.
You can follow me on Twitter at CRSGrim for anything Heroes related and Team Curse related. And you can also, first of all, I'd like to say shout outs to Forecourt Jester and Xander the Gamer. Like usual, they keep me entertained and craving for more. I'd like to thank also our sponsors, Cooler Master, Alienware, Azubu Astro, and Loot Crate. Those guys are just amazing and have been supporting us since the beginning.
Still waiting on my loot crate.
Working on it.
Thank you. Thank you. Any shout outs for you, Mr. Nixus?
Just a shout out to the whole crew, everyone at 2arc working really, really hard. Shout out to everyone at HPL. You guys are doing a fantastic job. Especially, I love the quality of everything you guys are doing. A lot of passion put into it, as you can tell. And yeah, definitely Forecourt Jester and Xander the Gamer. It was actually Xander's first live cast as a shoutcaster for Heroes today, so he was really excited, and I was there supporting him. So I think he did a good job. So yep.
100%. Any shout outs for you over there at Team Empire?
Че там, привет передавать? Ты будешь, не?
Привет передавать. Ну, кому привет? Привет надо передать blizzardheroes.ru, потому что они уже с нами там какие-то контакты наладили, и я благодарен им за то, что они с нами время от времени играют и помогают нам. Также привет хочу передать, в особенности нашей команде и в частности нашему теаме, потому что он заждался нас, бедный, час уже ждет, а нас все нету в катке. Мы, в общем-то, ливанули с игры. Наверное, стоит передать привет еще нашим оппонентам, которым мы отдали победу в пабе. Пожалуй, Асфилу, который не смог на самом деле присутствовать с нами на многих событиях и все еще томится в хостеле в Москве, где холодно и где плохие администраторы. Пожалуй, это все пока приветы.
Really, man?
He said Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter is what he said.
Oh my god, you really want me to translate all this? Okay, we just want to say hello to one of the fun side that's supporting us. It's blizzardheroes.ru. They are our great friends, and we also say hi to all our teammates and all friends who are waiting us. They sitting and watching. I don't know. They watching this this program, and they still still waiting us in queue and want us to join. In Heroes of the Storm game. So that's it. Thank you guys for watching this, and I don't know what to say more.
Асфилу привет.
Yeah. Oswald wants to say hi to Oswald as well. That's it.
Yeah, if you guys
No.
are watching the video here and you want to know why Nixus and Grimm's cameras got out of whack, it's because halfway through, Asphalt turned on his camera. So I went ahead and just put that up there on the screen so you guys could see him as he was making his very long-winded shout-out to Twitter, I think is what we came to the conclusion that was about.
Nice.
So, with that being said, guys, this has been the Team Curse post-game show for Heroes Premier League, Week 2, Day 2. And once again, shout out to Curse and all their sponsors, Cooler Master, Loot Crate, Alienware, right? That's one.
Alien War,
Yeah,
yes.
definitely. So, definitely shout out to all those guys, and we'll see you all next week right here on youtube.com/Nexus Champ TV for another Team Curse post-game show of Heroes Premier League.